Hey guys, welcome back to Just Piddling Barbecue. Let's smoke some tri-tip. Alright guys, what I'm going to do today is I'm going to smoke a tri-tip. I've never really done a tri-tip before, mainly because it's hard to find around South Georgia. Tri-tips and briskets, things like that, are kind of hard to find in South Georgia. We tend to do more pork type stuff like Boston butts, pork shoulders, that kind of thing, spare ribs, that kind of stuff. So, but I did find a tri-tip. I've been wanting to do one. And so that's what we're going to do today. Now the tri-tip that I've got today was pre-marinated in a steakhouse. It was called a steakhouse marinade. It looked like a really good marinade. Had a lot of peppercorn in it, a lot of garlic, that kind of thing. But it was a wet marinade. And when I took it out of the package, it just smelled really strong. And it was also a really wet marinade. So what I did was I took it over to the sink, rinsed everything off, and I'm glad I did, because under that marinade it had a little bit of color to it, and under that marinade I found a decent amount of silver skin that I removed from that tri-tip. So that might be something that you want to do if you've got a tri-tip that's already pre-marinated. The marinade has definitely done its job, but it also had a really strong odor, and of garlic peppercorn type odor. And what I really want is more of the smoke and more of the beef flavor to really shine through in the end. So that's why also that I washed it off, did a little bit of trimming, trimmed off some loose fat, some of the silver skin, and then I took some paper towels and lightly blotted it just so I could dry it off some. Now all I'm going to do is I've got the Silverbac out there warming up, 250 degrees with Pecan and Cherry pellets, 50-50 mix of BBQ'rs Delight pellets. It's sitting on 250, it's up to 210 right now. I can see it through the back door. And all I'm going to do is hit this tri-tip with a little bit of Red Eye Express from Dizzy Pig. It's not going to be a heavy coat, it's going to be a light coat on both sides, and then we're going to get it on at 250, probably about an hour and a half, 2 hours. I'm shooting for a internal temp of about 145, so I'm going to go ahead and insert the probe when I put it on the smoker. So this is going to be a really simple cook, but something that I hope you enjoy, so stay tuned. All right, here's the tri-tip that I've got. I did a little trimming mainly on the back side. The front side looked pretty good, and I'm just going to hit it with a little bit of Dizzy Pig, Red Eye Express. And this is a really good rub on beef especially. Not too heavy. Now I'm going to flip it over. I did trim off some fat, but there's still some fat left on there as well. But this ought to have really good flavor. And another thing that I did do that's probably a good idea on this is look to see where your grain is running. And for me, my grain is running this way on this, and you can see it right there on this tri-tip. So when you go to slice it, that'll be a reference for you. Right through there is the grain. So you want to cut it across the grain when you cut it. Alright, so we're up to 225 on the smoker. I'm fixing to get this out there on the grill and let it get some smoke on it. And then we'll see where we're at in a little bit. Alright guys, the grill's up to 265. It'll come back down to temperature. I got it set on 250. So we're going to go ahead and get the tri-tip on. I'm going to put that fat, what is the fat side, down. I'm going to lay it right there in the middle of the grill. And now we're just going to close the lid and let it roll. I probably won't check it again for probably a good hour. I'm fixing to put the temp probe in, and we'll check it in an hour and see where it's at. Stay tuned. Alright guys, let's talk about what we got going on before we cut into the tri-tip. I had a tri-tip today, and it was already a pre-marinated tri-tip. Had some good peppercorns and some garlic, but it was a real wet marinade, so I washed it to get some of that marinade off, and then just blotted it dry with some paper towels, and then I covered it with some Dizzy Pig's Red Eye Express. Then I got it on the smoker out there, the Silverbac, run at 250 degrees with some BBQ'rs Delight Pecan and Cherry pellets, mixed about 50-50. And it ran about 2 hours until I got an internal temperature of 145 degrees on the meat probe out there. Brought it in, foiled it, and let it rest for about 30 minutes. And now we're fixing to cut into it and see what we got. So let's check it out. All right, I've got the meat taken out of the foil on the cutting board, and I just want to talk to you a minute before we start cutting into it about the grain. Once again, it would be tempting for me, at least, to just start at this end and just start making slices. The problem with that is the grain is actually running almost perfectly this way. So if I cut it that way, it's going to be cutting it with the grain, and it's going to be tough. So with the grain running this way, we want to slice it more across the grain. So that's what we're going to do. Now, because the grain's running almost perpendicular to that, it's going to be a little tough cutting smaller slices. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut it in half about right here and go ahead and make me a cut. And now I'm going to start slicing. I'm just going to make kind of thin slices, about a 1/4 inch slice. And it's cut nice and easy. Seems to be pretty tender. And it looks perfectly done. It's probably about a medium well, medium to medium well after it rested. You can smell that marinade a little bit, but you can also smell that smoke, which is what I wanted, and kind of one of the reasons why I washed it when we took it out of the pack. And then, as you can see, there's your tri-tip. A little bit of a hint of a smoke ring around the edges. And because here's what you get when you cut it against the grain. You get that shredded beef if you want to. Now we can take a taste. Excellent beef flavor. A little bit of that rub, but a little bit of the marinade too. But the beef flavor is what really comes through more than anything, and that's what I wanted. If you've never tried tri-tip before, you need to give it a try. If you're a steak lover, try some tri-tip. Until next time, I'll be piddling.